What is going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Motorsport Manager 3. If you don't know what's going on around here, we're basically doing a modded career in F1 2020 styling. We're managing a brand new team, ALPHATAURI, trying to become one of the Italian powerhouses of Formula One. I hope they're Italian. They're Italian, aren't they? Yeah. Let's go with that anyway. Trying to work our way up over a couple of seasons. We're going to do, this is 2020. We're going to go into 2021, probably going to go into 2022, and then I'll probably run out of time before the new F1 season starts, but we'll see how it goes. A little bit of a shorter episode today. I think this one's around like 17 minutes or something. I'm actually recording this commentary directly after recording the commentary of episode 7. So if you're not familiar with how the channel's kind of gone recently, it's been a bit like I divided up the commentary and the gameplay to kind of loosen the strangle on the the creative of myself, and just try and enjoy the gameplay a little bit more than considering what I'm saying or how I'm playing it for a recording. But I think episode 9 will more than likely be back to live recording, because I just feel like I feel like that works better and I preferred it. But you can see there we actually signed 3 new sponsors, and as I've said in the last few episodes, we've been putting money into the development of next year's car as we can, because you can see we're losing about $1 million a race at the moment. We've got 5 races left, so we need 5 million in the bank account to get us to the end of the season. So we just put a couple more million in, bump the car up into, I think that was Challenger or whatever the highest bracket is. So as it is, we look already like we're going to have a really strong car next year. If we can get it to that top point, then I can fulfill Pierre Gasly's wishes from the last episode of giving him some new parts for the car for the very end of the season, just to try and bump up our performance rating going into the new season. But no new parts this time, unfortunately, so Pierre is going to be down a bit on stats. You can see there he's down to almost 3 stars, which is not ideal. Not ideal at all. So his performances, I'm not too optimistic this time. But here we are, fast forwarding through qualifying again. I think I said in episode 6, the first time I did this post-com, it's just a lot easier to just blitz through it and be done with it, because it's not the most exhilarating part of this game, to be quite honest. But quite solid first runs, or second runs even. Sainz up in 13th, just above our sponsor target, and here we go for the last minute of the session as we come round to put the laps in. Sainz gets round and Gasly does not, so 1 lap for us here. It's Sainz, he is improving. It's not enough to go any further up the grid. He does get us our sponsor target though, but Pierre Gasly, very, very, very unfortunate. Also, this is the stupidest news clipping I've ever seen. Of course Sainz has no chance of catching Verstappen, so Verstappen is on pole, as you will see in a matter of seconds, or, yeah, there we are, Max Verstappen on pole position. Great qualifying from him, by the way. Really good opportunity to get his first win here of the season, which is mad to think we're on round 8 and he hasn't won a race yet. And Alexander Albon has won a race. I don't know what this save is, to be quite honest. Haas 7th and 8th, it says it all. Of course we don't stand a chance. He's in a Red Bull on pole and we're in 13th. But yeah, like it said at the end of the last episode, Renault and McLaren bringing new parts here, and it's worked out because they're actually both above us. In fact, Sainz only out-qualifies one of them, and that's Ocon, who has been quite poor this season actually. Not really showing any pace. Perez really out of place, down in 15th there, I think that is. But again, as always, it's the Alfa Romeos and the Williams at the back of the grid. I really hope that the tweaks that I make going into 2021 for this save kind of shake that up a little bit. I would love to see Williams back up the grid. I mean, both of them, but mostly Williams. I'm not that fussed about Alfa Romeo, but Here we go then, putting together our strategy for this race. I think we aim to go for a one stop for both cars on the. Oh no, we run ultra softs on Science, so we are going very aggressive on that strategy for Science Junior. We will see how that works out for us. Again, same as last episode, I recorded this gameplay at the same time as I recorded episode 6, and this commentary is happening so much later on that I have absolutely no idea how this race ends. I haven't watched the gameplay back before commentating because I didn't want to spoil the element of surprise for myself. I don't know what the championship looks like coming out of this race. I don't know where we finish this race. At the moment, it's really not going well for Gasly. He is becoming a little bit of a problem child in this episode, really, demanding new parts, even and not having faith that we're building a good car for next year. Sainz, however, has his head down and is chasing the rear end of some points here, which is exactly why we're paying him loads of money and signed him back to this team from McLaren. So hopefully he can get his way into those points. Leclerc has taken the lead off Verstappen, which is very important for the championship. If you remember the way it looked from the end of last episode, there was 6 points separating Leclerc, Hamilton and Bottas at the top of the championship, with Leclerc leading ahead of Hamilton, ahead of Bottas, I think, and then there was 5 points, I think, separating Verstappen, Albon and Vettel, with Vettel, I believe, leading that trio. So the top 6 at the moment is, quintessential for the championship. They are so, their results are so imperative to each other, and where they come in the overall results. And just coming back to our story here, Sainz, I don't know why I did that. Sainz was about to take 10th place away from Daniel Kvyat, which would have been, a big kick in the teeth for Daniel, who basically looks like he's upgraded since we did that driver trade. And we put it on to conserve the tyres, so yeah, but we have stretched them longer than I think they were meant to go. I think they're only meant to go 4 laps, and we've managed to pull out 5 here for Sainz, so we are going to make a stop. A couple of cars have stopped already. I think it's Bottas, Vettel, Grosjean. I think they were the only 3, but we are going to come into the pits here and make our stop. Gasly is going to find himself into the points positions he just gets ahead of Verstappen, but he will not hold that place long. Sainz now trundling around at the back of the pack, but yeah, we've gone on to the softs, which I believe are the hardest compound at this race. So that the aim there is obviously to go to the end. A lot of the cars in front have gone on to the super softs, which is essentially the medium compound of tyre at this race. It'll be interesting to see how far they can take those, whether they can take them to the end, because if they do, then obviously our strategy is, not one that's going to work out. But if they do start to fall off, as our tyre length is predicted around lap 7 on those tyres, then they are going to have a real hard time, and they're going to have to make a 2-stop in this race. So yeah, very interesting. Both the Williams quite high up here, but I don't think they've pit yet. I think they're both running the hardest compound. Yeah, Latifi has pit now. George Russell still sits up in 10th place, and those tyres are looking comfortable actually. He is holding up Vettel and Albon and Leclerc, which means that both of the Mercedes who've already pitted are comfortably away from the other cars in the top 6. Sainz still yet to make any inroads on anyone in front of him, but that's okay. At the moment it's just a waiting game and seeing how other teams' strategies pan out. I hadn't actually noticed that the Mercedes aren't leading this race, because Verstappen is 6 seconds ahead of Lewis Hamilton here. He is streaks ahead of the others in the top 6. So, as far as it looks at the moment, Leclerc getting ahead of him at the start of the race has done him nothing good whatsoever. He's down in 12th, while Verstappen leads this race from the 2 racing points, which is personally something I would love to see happen in real life, but it feels just out of the realms of possibility in real life at the moment. Ever so close, but not quite there. Sainz finally starting to make up the places, and I think it looks as though Kvyat and Ocon have either just stopped or stopped again. They are on the ultra softs, and I would say we're not going to hold those behind for long. Magnussen's been, you know, snooping around behind us for quite some time. As the Racing Points stop here and lose that fantastic position they had, they finally make their pit stops. George Russell still sits in 9th place here in a Williams, which is, I mean, I know he has to pit, but worrying for us just because they are yet to score. And Raikkonen is in 7th, so the 2 cars behind us doing very alternate strategies. I don't know how well they're going to work out. Yeah, this is going to be a fascinating into the race. Obviously as well, Sainz in 13th, 2 cars to stop in front that will drop behind at least. Will bump him up to 11th, so we could be looking at, again, you know, the tail end of some points here. Once again, we're basically in a 1-car shot here because Gasly throwing tantrums and losing his star rating has basically nullified any opportunity for him in this race. But Sainz has been absolutely demolished here by Kvyat, Magnussen and Perez. We would have been up to 11th, but the 3 of them have just blitzed past him and given him no chances. We're already on the penultimate lap of the race here, so I thought a lot of people would have to pit again, but they're actually holding it out, and the gap that they have now in front with 1 lap to go makes it almost a mammoth task. You know, everyone has worn tyres, it's just some more than others, so no one's going to really get that fantastic pace in as we do. Just Sainz's car's braking, but we just tell him to give it everything, because at the moment we're not even meeting our sponsor target. So if he doesn't make up any positions, you know, if he crashed out now or he broke the car, it wouldn't make a difference because we're not getting any money, we're not getting any points. But he is looking here to go up the inside of Kevin Magnussen in the last couple of corners. He does take 13th, and that might be just what we need here. He might even get 12th, not quite, but Sainz does get us our sponsor money. So, I mean, this race was a little bit more of a crash down to earth. I know we didn't score in the last one, but we were a lot closer to the points, whereas this one we were, you know, we struggled a lot more, and really it was more of a race to get our sponsor target and just keep ourselves losing less than $1 million than it was to, you know, get points. And, you know, worryingly again for us, Kimi Raikkonen does actually score points. I think he held out all the way to the end, and that experience pays off, and he scores 2 points for Alfa Romeo, which really piles the pressure onto us with our 3 points for the season. Verstappen wins his first race of the season, and that closes up, you know, the constructors here. You can see only 60 points, less than 60 points in it between 3rd and 1st now in the constructors, all very evenly matched on race wins as well, although the podiums is a completely different story. Mercedes have been as prolific as in real life. But yeah, as I said there, Alfa Romeo closed the gap up, and we are going to have to really fight now to maintain our 8th place in the championship. Williams still not really looking threatening, but yeah, it's making it tough, and the gap closes to 5 points at the top of the championship, but the pendulum totally swings. Charles Leclerc drops from 1st to 3rd, and Lewis Hamilton goes up to take the lead of the championship with only 1 race win. Same as last episode for those, but absolutely crazy that Charles Leclerc with 3 race wins is behind both Mercedes with the same amount of wins combined. Max Verstappen throws his hat into the mix, only 22 points now off the lead of the championship with the same amount of race wins as Lewis Hamilton. And Kimi Raikkonen puts himself up above Pierre Gasly in the standings into 14th. I mean, yeah, I will agree with that, Evening Herald. We are looking enviously at Red Bull, but you never know. We might just be able to copy their car for next season. And, you know. Again, here's some more worrying news. Williams bringing new brakes. we really don't need this. We really do not need the teams behind us bringing upgrades right now, because that is a direct threat to our championship position. We just have to hope that they're really not, working hard on next year's car and just building parts of this year's car, and that way we will be better next season. But yeah, Pierre Gasly somehow enjoyed that result. Couldn't tell you. So Gasly enjoyed that result, and that cancels out his wants new parts problem, and he goes back to normal. And now Carlos Sainz, despite how much we're paying him just to drive our crap box car around these tracks, wants better parts. You can't win. You can't win with these spoilt drivers. I need to just bring someone up from Formula 2 or something who's going to appreciate a drive in F1. But yeah, I mean, we're going to boost his stats a little bit here, but that is really not going to help us out. I want to build them new parts, but we've got to wait now again until we get some new sponsors, because we have budgeted to the point where we just have enough money, in the account to keep it going. But yeah, that is it, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Round 9 at a home race in Milan. Should be going back to the live com. I look forward to it. I look forward to seeing you guys then. Smash the like, hit subscribe. I'll see you in the next one.